We took a trip to the island of Rousay. Rousay is a northerly island from the mainland. It's approximately 6 kilometres north to south and 9 kilometres east to west, so quite small, with a population of only 230. It's the 5th largest island in the archipelago. We had a destination in mind, although obviously we wanted to see what heritage representation there was on the island. There was a small heritage centre which had a small amount of information about the island. We then headed out to what's known as the Golden Mile, and this is due to the archaeology along this stretch of shoreline. It's actually incredible. We first visited the Broch of Midhow. It's quite good on the outside, but I was quite disappointed on the inside, as there was loads of support walls up, which actually meant that you couldn't see the inside properly. Next we wandered along to Midhow chambered tomb, and this was quite incredible. I wasn't sure quite what to expect, but I was impressed with the size of it, and they refer to it as the ship due to just its sheer size. So what you can see is all the stonework on the outside, and then there's this sort of walkway above it, which means that you can walk along the length of it, which enables you to see down inside it, where you can see all the different sort of chambers within it, which would have been part of the sort of ceremony of burial, where people were either laid out or body bones from ancestors were laid within. And then carried on past these sort of heritage dwellings, little farmsteads, which were really lovely, and I really enjoyed seeing those. And we went heading for Scale Farm, which is actually currently under excavation. And it's under excavation because it has a sort of more modern sort of 1800s dwelling over the top of what they believe is a Norse hall, which is what scale means. Scale means hall in Norse. We passed this amazing church, which was really, really lovely. I wasn't able to film very much of the excavation, just due to privacy and the fact that we were sort of chatting, but yeah, maybe we can visit there again another time. So yeah, I went past this church ruin, and yeah, this is quite amazing. All the lichens that are on the walls were just beautiful. And of course, wandering around the graveyard, the kirkyard, looking at all the stones, although lots of them were sort of very worn. We didn't have too much time, so we sort of headed from there just for a little sort of look around the island. I was on the hunt for dye materials, and so yeah, I don't pick these lichens from the wall, but it was really nice to find bits on the floor, which I did gather. It takes quite a long time to get a dye bath together when you are just doing bits and pieces, but yeah, managed to get a good handful in the end. So yeah, we went for a drive around the island and saw a few different things. We stopped at this incredible mill, and this entire complex was sort of empty and abandoned. So yeah, just me being me, we sort of got out and went to have a look. I was desperate to see if there was any actual mill workings, but the access wasn't great, so we only saw just a little peep of the sort of courtyard, etc. And yeah, there wasn't really any mill workings to see, so that was a little bit disappointing. But look at that yellow lichen on the stonework, absolutely beautiful. A glorious, glorious day. The sea looking absolutely incredible. So it was just really nice to have a drive round. In actual fact, we ran out of time really quickly. You know, you arrive on the islands and the ferries, there were only a few ferries because the community is so small. And I thought we were, you know, it seemed like we got a good stretch of time, and then all of a sudden we were going back to get the ferry home. It was a really wonderful place to explore, and one I would definitely like to go back to. The wool is locally grown, if you like, and I washed all the lanolin from it in order to experiment with the dye. I don't know if it's good quality for actually spinning. It seems to have reasonably long staples, and I mean, the intention right now is just to see how well it dyes. So I'm going to pop some into some mordant, and then get this dye on the go, and we'll see what the results are. I really can't decide what to do for the best. I mean, if it is just... I think I need to do a little bit of research, and then I think that if it's saltburn, I'm not going to touch them. If I do find that it's blight, then I will cut the vegetation off and leave the potatoes, and I'll do some research. Yeah, I'm just going to sit down on this bed here. So this bed here, as you can see, is looking absolutely fantastic. The carrots are brilliant. There's not a little bit of burn on those, and then the onions are doing really good as well. We've got a whole load of lettuce left, and I've got carrots there. You can see at the back there my spinach is bolted, and I've actually sown another row the original garden plan before we put these beds in. We are doing a no-dig method, so the potatoes are actually sort of on the ground, and we bank them up with seaweed, and we've banked them up with soil and other things, so they were doing really well. We have had a couple of the earlies off. Here's Henry. Here's my little Henry. Yeah, I feel like I spent a long time preparing to get the garden, you know, ready. It was a long spring, and yeah, this garden had been abandoned for the past couple of years. You know, it had minimal sort of management, and yeah, if you haven't seen that video, I'll pop a thing up. But there was a huge amount of work that needed to be done. This vegetable patch was just a sea of grass. There was absolutely nothing. It was just couch grass, which is a really invasive kind of strong grass, and it took a long time for me to get the cottage garden back into some sort of style. So this sort of spring and summer has been very much about establishing what is here. It's been interesting. It's been interesting to see what's come up. It's been nice to like go and get some other plants and add to it. Yeah, I feel like next we've got quite a few jobs to do over the winter. You know, we want to put stone on the paths and things, and I think by next spring this will be much more in control. And I feel like I've spent a lot of time trying to control it this year. But next year that should be so much better, and things will be so much easier. The wind has dropped significantly, and we don't really suffer from midges the same way as mainland Scotland does. Not just here, where, you know, because we're close to the sea and everything, when the wind blows so much you don't really notice, but when the wind drops you suddenly get these little clouds that come out, and I had to put my spray on to come out for an hour this evening. I just wanted to get this grass up and inspect my potatoes again. I've been quite concerned about them. But yeah, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here doing this, and that's it as far as garden update is concerned at the moment. I'm not going to show you around our beds at the moment because they are in. We've had quite, you know, there's been quite a lot of wind and things have been flattened and moved, and yeah, like I say, we're still trying to control anything. Anyway, I'm going to carry on doing this weeding, and I will leave you and see you again next time. Take care.